Welcome, sports fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the sports nerd joins forces with three charismatic co-hosts who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude, better known in Nerd Nation as the Ram Pack. We are four of the most loudmouth, smack-talking nerds around, coming at you with some sick rips and rants, which may be just enough to make you pee your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Let's rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Richmond, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd Right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am your host, Scott, the Sports Nerd Right, and along with my co-host, Elliot, Big E Lamba. Soon to join us, Mr. Bills Mafia member John G. Olson, and Ken, how about them Cowboys, Koslow? We will discuss the week that was in the world of sports, specifically the NFL, and we are live each and every Sunday night on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and when it's working, on the blockchain, courtesy of Vim.tv. If you miss a live broadcast, you can watch the replays on Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and on the blockchain via PeakD, wherever you get your podcasts. Gentlemen, welcome to another Sunday, week 5 in the NFL. There's John. And joining there's Django. Well, he's hating
Hey, he's not in a truck.
Uh-oh.
John
You
hates
get the Edmonton
football,
Oilers on
We'll
today.
get to that shortly.
Yeah, that should tell you how well I'm feeling right now.
Yes.
Like
He's
I
got
had
the Oilers
choices,
hat on instead of
right?
the
I
Bills
have
hat.
choices, but I'm. You know what? No, man. I ride or die, man.
Okay.
Come
All
on
right.
now.
I ride or die, man. I ride or die.
Hey, Cleveland didn't lose because they didn't play.
Hey, I'm just sitting here stress free today, guys, because I'm on a bye week, so I don't have to worry about the Browns.
What is
losing.
this you got going on?
You like that, John?
Wow,
You
Santa,
like that?
Santa Claus.
Ho ho ho!
Wow.
He even got a
There you
haircut to go with it.
Yes, I got a new haircut. You
Yeah.
see that?
Well,
You know who cut my hair?
I don't know what having hair is like, but cool.
You know who cut my hair?
That's amazing.
Elliot cut my hair. He came up here last
Did he?
week and he cut my hair.
Wow, very nice.
Yes.
Did he give you a fade or no?
No.
He didn't want one.
You didn't want one. Dude, come on. Fade will make you look 10 years younger, dude.
He wanted a gentleman's
No, the
cut.
beard makes you look 10 years older, but that's okay.
It's all right.
But it's
I
finally
would've
come
given him
in.
a beard
It's fine.
fade, too,
It's taken me 50 years, but it's come in finally. I like where I like it.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, before we start, I got to
Uh-oh,
ask
here
a
we go.
question.
Okay.
Raise your hand if you've ever had a mullet. Okay.
I had one in grade 7 and 8. I didn't know what it was. Like, I mean,
I had one for about 2 days, I
I
think.
think the solar
I couldn't
system had
stand
3
it.
planets back then.
Yes, I mean, I did come of age in the 80s, Ken. So yeah, the mullet was big and popular. I even had parachute pants when I was in the
Mine was
80s.
in
So.
the, mine
Oh,
was in the
man.
70s.
nice. That's
Oh,
impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yep. So the 80s was big hair. Was the big hair decade. I even had a time when I was with big hair, and in the 90s, I actually had a perm.
Wow.
And
Wow.
when I got my driver's license with that haircut, with my glasses, I looked
Okay,
like
easy.
Weird Al Yankovic. I'm just saying.
Okay, easy.
Weird Scott Ryan. No, Weird Scott.
So anyway,
No.
Wow.
all right, here we are, week 5. My heartfelt condolences goes out to Mr. John G. Olson and his disappointing loss today against the Jacksonville
Dude,
Jaguars.
you know what? I might be the only dude in Bills Mafia that is kind of like, meh. Like, I mean, I'm more upset with the fact that Matt Milano is done for the year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would be
rather
too.
than the loss. Like, first of all, anyone that thinks Jacksonville's like a lousy team is smoking something. They're
Right.
really good. Like Calvin Ridley is off the ringer
I mean,
fast.
Calvin
oh my
really had a
God.
day today, man. He was just freaking off the chain today.
ETN had a day today.
ATN
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, well, the reason he could run is because Daquan Jones. So Daquan Jones was our run stuffer who was having an amazing year, and Matt Milano is like the best linebacker in the league. Sorry,
Well, he's your
everyone
quarterback on the defense.
And you lost
isn't he,
He
John?
is.
you lost Tre'Davious White last week.
And we lost Tre'Davious White. So here comes the injuries, right? So we've
Yep.
lost 3 starters probably for the rest of the year. I mean, we don't know about Daquan, but like Milano's done. So to be brutally honest with you, the defense played okay After all of that decimated, that wasn't the issue. The issue was when Josh throws a pass and it hits the guy in the chest
And he
doesn't secure it and it drops.
When did you guys get Kadarius Toney?
Exactly, right? Like, I mean, that's what it feels like. So, like, I truly believe they need, like, I'm not worried necessarily. Like, corner is kind of corner is such a weird position to play, man.
Yep.
So, like, I think they need to go offense and just shove it down people's throat, man. Like, just beat them with points. Like, the defense will be fine. So,
I heard to the effect that they didn't arrive in London until like
Friday.
50
Friday.
hours.
Yeah, why would they wait so long? Why wouldn't they
This
go
was
like
their
on Tuesday or
sports
Wednesday?
metrics guys made that decision. The sports metrics and management and analytics guys said this would be their peak performance if they got there on Friday. Are you like really?
All they kept talking about was that they looked like they were playing on jet lag.
72 hours, man. I mean,
they arrived 51 hours before kickoff.
51 hours before kickoff. Yep.
That's insanity. And like Jacksonville's been there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
let's hit the time difference. There's 5 hours time difference between Eastern time and
Greenwich Mean
time. Yeah. And so that makes a big difference. I've been there 6 times. It's 6 hours for me.
It's kind of like
it makes a big difference.
It's kind of like the West Coast teams when they travel east.
Yeah.
They just don't play the same because their clock is 10 in the morning.
That's 3 hours difference now. Double that because you're flying all the way across the Atlantic and it's the jet lag hangs around and it can affect you. I don't think any doubt about it.
They fly over at the latest Wednesday. Just to
right. Dude, as soon as they played that Miami game, they should have been prepping to leave.
They should have been gone the next day.
Why sit around? What, to see the beautiful scenery of Western New York? Like, what are you doing? like get on the plane and go.
Go
see Buckingham Palace. Go see.
You think they might have been a little hungover from the victory against Miami?
Well, dude, I was listening to the post game call-in show, and like you'd think they lost the Super Bowl with the radio host is like kind of like me. He's like, it's October 8th. It's week 5. Right. Jacksonville's not a slouch. We were playing on, like you said, 51 hours of being in a different continent. We decimated with injuries last week with Trey White, now Milano and Daquan Jones.
Yep.
It's not the end of the world, man.
You skip like 5 time zones when you head out there.
Yeah,
it is.
No, it's whatever. That's why I'm like, it sucks. I'm again more concerned with the fact they lost Milano than the loss. Like the loss is
the long term.
You're still 3-2.
Yeah,
but
is his ACL or what?
He broke his leg.
Broke his leg. Okay,
so
I didn't know.
Going for
I didn't see the game, so I didn't get to do anything.
Yeah, and they are going for testing for. So if it's his knee plus the ACL or not ACL or whatever MCL ACL whatever. Yeah. That's a season ender.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's total. And then Daquan Jones, it's a pec, and pecs take forever to heal. So he's done. So that's our 2 best defenders are literally gone for the year. So now these guys.
In your house, John, just to give you a heads up, that's Maddie. That's Maddie.
Who?
The Facebook user in chat. That's Matt.
Oh, Matt Wallace knows.
Yeah, Matt Wallace. Matt, reconnect your account to
Good. Yes, Lions. They're my NFC team. Go Lions. Well, actually, the 49ers are because I'm CMC till I die.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions are just going crazy.
The Lions are great, man. Jared Goff is playing out of his mind, and I love it. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Today it's one I picked them to win the NFC. So.
There's a long way to go before I think they're going to win the NFC.
I think they're a lock for the North. That's for sure.
They're a lock for the North. The North title, yes.
No question about that.
Title, yes. But I mean, there's too many good teams there right now. I mean, you got Philadelphia, and San Francisco, plus Dallas that Detroit has to go through. Those are 3 better teams I feel than Detroit. But Detroit's got playing. I mean, Dan Campbell's got these guys playing way out of their league. It's just amazing how he's got these guys playing.
Well, not necessarily because they have good defense. I mean. Carolina scored a garbage time touchdown at the end. They were down 42-17.
Yeah.
So their offense is clicking. Their running game is good with Montgomery. Now they got Jamison Williams back. They even scored 42 points without Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Correct. Or St. Brown without that. You're right. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're pretty much a good all-around team. Whether they're on the level of San Francisco, Philly, and Dallas, that
We shall see.
that remains to be seen. Because they play Dallas at the end of the season, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
In Dallas?
Like week 16, 15, 16, somewhere there.
Yeah. So that's, again, I see them as a lock in that North. The most
Because
embarrassing.
the other three teams in the division, I don't think can beat Detroit. I really don't.
But I bet you that on the contrary, John's like probably a little despondent about the Milano situation and the other guy. But I bet you on the flip side, he's pretty happy about what's been happening to the New England Patriots.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, they've lost their last two games, like 47-3 total, I think, or something like that.
They've lost by 69 points combined.
Yeah,
It's great.
3 points over the last 2 weeks.
yes.
Fantastic.
Let me repeat that. 3 points.
Belichick must be going
72
out of his mind right now.
72-3 in the last.
I'm here for it. The only bad thing, apparently the Jets won. Did they beat the Broncos? They did,
Yes,
They
right?
did.
They did.
31-29.
So,
31-29.
so that sucks. So, New York is thinking they were going to.
So Nathaniel Hackett gets his revenge on Sean Payton. So,
Yeah.
I'm surprised the Jets held that the Giants held the Dolphins to 37 points.
well, the Giants are just.
Dude, all I know is what do we got? We got the Giants
31.
coming into town next week.
Mhm.
So I'm for that.
Yeah, the Giants are a shit show, guys.
Well, the only problem is if Daniel Jones is done and they start Tyrod Taylor, I don't want Tyrod back in Buffalo. Like, I don't want him near Buffalo. Don't come near here, please, because we all love Tyrod.
Yeah, because Jones got hurt today.
Jones got a neck injury.
Jones got hurt.
He got
I'm
a
not
neck
sure it's serious, but he left the
Well,
game.
that could be a blessing in disguise if he's injured because he's been playing like shit.
Doo-doo. It's great. I love it. Is there any games still going on, or are they all wrapped
games
up?
are
All
over.
final. So all we got now is
The United game is the only one left today.
One game left. But what Chicago did Thursday night, they kind of looked like an actual team against Washington.
Yeah, I know, right?
40 points.
40
They
points.
hung
Yeah.
up.
Fields looked good.
And they did it on the road against the Commanders, who've been playing pretty well. So I mean, that was impressive.
Let's take a time out there. The Commanders had allowed, and there's a site on Facebook, a page called Fantasy Football Stardom Situm.
Mhm.
Okay. And one of the guys on there was like, "Should I start the Commanders or the Lions?" And I'm like, "You better start the Lions because the Commanders are giving up at least 33 points a game the last 3 games."
Yeah.
And then one other guy was like, "Oh, well, it's Thursday. Nobody scores a lot on Thursday." Blah, blah, blah. I go, how long did that last on the shelf? What's the shelf life on that statement? Because they gave up 40 this time. So Washington's defense is not doing them any favors. And the
Not
only
lately.
reason they won is because they beat Denver and Arizona. That's not a measure. That's a measuring stick for what?
Mm-hmm.
There are some XFL teams that can beat Denver and Arizona.
Exactly. I mean, Arizona made Burrow and Chase look like Burrow and Chase again.
Yeah. I mean, Burrow looked good today. He didn't look he was suffering on that calf of his. I mean, he was running the football. He threw a bomb to Chase.
It's Arizona
for a touchdown today, and he was kicking off that calf.
I want to see what they do against Baltimore or Cleveland or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody formidable. Not Arizona. Arizona, I mean, they hang around, but they looked awful today. Cincinnati just destroyed them. So. But yeah,
it was a close game up until the fourth quarter in that game. I mean, Arizona was hanging tight with them, but they made a couple of mistakes that allowed Cincinnati to get in the end zone a couple of times, including the pick 6 in the red zone. Okay, but for the most part, Arizona hung tight with them. So I mean, it wasn't a total blowout, but again, Cincinnati came up and found a way to win that game. I don't buy that Arizona wasn't playing them tough. They were playing them tough. And again, Philadelphia beats the Rams, but the Rams were hanging around today all day too against Philadelphia. So I mean, and Minnesota put up a pretty good showing against KC, despite losing that game because they were going toe to toe with KC too. So, but you know, I mean. My big question here is, and I said it to Kenny, how in the hell is Pittsburgh still winning fucking football games?
How in the hell is Baltimore blowing football games the way they did?
That team is horrendous. That means Pittsburgh's offense is so bad. It's not.
It's their defense that keeps them in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they get one turn, because look, the game turned on that safety.
Yes.
Okay.
The pump block safety. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's where the game turned. Because after that, Pittsburgh got and then the bomb to Pickens.
Yeah, that bomb to Pickens was that's a fluke for Kenny Pickett because he's not that good a quarterback. He really isn't.
But I mean, it was 10-3 the entire game until
the fourth quarter. Yeah.
And Pittsburgh's defense held them. I mean, they only scored 10 points. And this is a team that's supposed to have a formidable offense, but I still don't think they have good enough receivers to make a difference.
Well, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that division. Of course, I always look at the division because it's my division, but that whole division is up for grabs, man.
It is.
Really no clear.
It is up for grabs.
There is really no clear leader in that division because they're all about on the same level.
The waters are muddied right now in that division.
Yes.
But did you see that drop by Bateman in the end zone?
No.
Yeah, he had a ball right there in his hands. And he freaking dropped it. It was a touchdown. Okay. Again, the receiver. I think Odell got hurt again.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So it's Odell, Bateman, Zay Flowers. He still doesn't have a touchdown in 5 games. He gets a few yards here and there, and then their running game is not anything to write home about either. Gus Edwards.
Yeah, they really don't have a Bell cow running back, do they?
So this thing about
Justice Hill ain't it?
No.
Lamar Jackson saying he was going to throw for 6,000. Where's that statement at now?
That's not going to happen.
He'd be lucky if he throws for 3,000, 4,000.
Oh, yeah, right. I was going to say 4, but yeah, 3. Okay, go ahead with 3.
You know?
I see a lot of RPO in their future.
And Mark Andrews is taking a bit of a step back as well.
Well, and it's pretty bad when Jackson is really your only weapon you got right now.
Pretty much. And when you can contain him, then you got nothing.
Right. I mean, there's people on Brown's Twitter saying that we should have beaten both Baltimore and Pittsburgh, but they just had some bad breaks during both those games as to why they lost those games.
And that's how those teams win their games because they capitalize on bad breaks.
Correct.
You know. And
they've made a fortune on that.
When you let a bad team stay in a game, there's many times where that can come back to bite you in the end.
The Steelers have made a fortune in the last 50 years of capitalizing on other teams' bad breaks.
Oh, shit. Baltimore's creeped up to 11-8.
11-8.
Good news to the bad.
11-8. Wow.
Yeah. Bottom of the ninth, 1 out.
Oh, you're talking baseball now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, are we? Okay, so I can mute myself.
No, Elliot was talking baseball.
No, I just gave a score update.
Just talking the playoff game.
From the playoffs. I know we ain't gonna talk about Toronto and the one run they scored in 2 games.
Nope.
So stupid, dude. I don't even like. It's such a it's like they fire that stupid management team to the moon. Like they pulled Berrios like 47. No, it was like 37 pitches, something like that.
Yeah.
3rd inning. Because your analytics told you to? You stupid math nerd.
You know what, guys? I missed the baseball in the 70s and 80s when it was all feel and all. It was just, that was great.
Yeah.
Those years were great for baseball.
When pitchers weren't on pitch counts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
They weren't using computers to call a game. That was the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Just like I missed the days of no load management in the NBA.
Right. Ooh, Jordan would never take days off. He never took days off.
None of them guys.
No.
Bird, Jordan, they play injured.
Looks like John's got his dinner. What'd you have for dinner, John?
I got teriyaki. So
Teriyaki.
with a whole lot of hot sauce on it.
A lot of hot
Love teriyaki.
You got some Tums or some Pepto-Bismol to relieve your heartburn after that?
I don't get heartburn, dude. What's wrong with you? I'm Canadian, man. I'm not American, lightweight. Heartburn.
Yeah.
Love teriyaki.
So we missed you last week, John. I wanna do.
Yeah, because my life is utter chaos, bro.
Are you still driving, or what happened?
I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I got a new job. I'm driving with this company. It's like
Different company?
Yeah, it's different. Well, long story short, the place I worked for 3 months, and I got about this much.
They still owe you money?
They still $8,500, give or take.
Okay.
So I'm trying to fight them for it, and they're just being douche canoes.
Okay.
So
the new company is it okay, or is it better?
Well, yeah, it's a local place, and they're guaranteed to pay, but it's not what I want to do. It's like I get up at like 4 a.m. and drive until 6 p.m. every day, and it's just like
it's local. It's not over.
Local, but it's super long days, and it's just like it's go back and forth. Like I signed up to be a truck driver to be on the road and drive.
Right.
Like I want to. So if it's funny, like
places.
Well, it's not only that, but like the job I had that didn't pay, other than the fact that it didn't pay, was exactly what I was thinking. Because I could drive in the States, legally you can drive 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty full day of driving. You get about 600 miles, give or take, right? That's usually what I did. I never felt tired at the end of the day. I felt great. I would get to a truck stop, rest up, go have a shower, eat some dinner, do a live stream, do a blog post, watch, listen to a podcast, whatever. Never felt tired.
Yeah.
This job is just go. So I got to get home. I got to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night because I got to get up at like 4 o'clock to start work at 4:30 or 5. Then I'm driving till like 5 at night. So it's a 12-hour day, 13-hour day. I don't have any energy when I get home. So being around the kids is like, oh, okay, I love you guys. Good night. Like, what's the point? Like, so I don't know what I'm doing, dude. I can't just disappear because they do pay good and it's stable and it's a good company, but it's not what I want to do.
Right.
I want to.
You're going to have to hold out for what you were looking for, John.
Yeah, I gotta
do this for now until you get what you're looking for.
Yeah. So going forward until something changes, I'll be around every Sunday night now. Because
and how? I don't want to go off topic, but how is Blaine doing? Is he okay?
He's done. He's basically quit. So
really?
he can't handle it. His health is too messed up. So
so you're flying solo with CTP.
Eliana's basically a business partner, and we're it's survival mode, bro. There's no there's nothing positive going on in my life right now at all. Okay. But you know what?
Well, you know what? You got a wife and kids, so that's positive.
That's a really good thing being home. But I don't want to be tired when I'm here.
And a Rottweiler that chases roosters.
Yes. That was a great video, by the way.
Yeah, she's crazy, man. Like, those roosters are pricks, dude.
And they're mean.
Like,
they're mean.
They're
mean.
Angry animals. Like, they're just miserable.
Yes.
And just wretched. Oh, why do they even exist?
Wouldn't you be mad if all you had was wings?
I'm like, I don't feel bad. Dude, I don't feel bad eating chicken now because every time I eat chicken, what I'm doing right now, I think it's a rooster. I'm like, fine.
Wow, this sure tastes like rooster.
The hens are great. Like, the females are great. They're nice. They come up to you. They're friendly. Never peck you. But forget it, man.
Roosters are very territorial.
Why do you think they call them cocks?
Right?
Well, fun story. I'm not going to get too graphic, but this is me and my wife had this aha moment yesterday. We have 2 roosters, which is you're not supposed to have. With a small flock like we have, you're supposed to have basically 1 rooster per 10 hens.
Yeah.
We have 2 roosters for 6 hens.
Oh, my God.
So when one of the roosters tries to mount the other hen, the other rooster tries to jump on top of the other guy to stop him. Cock blocker. That's where it must come from. Dude, that's where the term must come from. It's not even like a derogatory, rude comment. It's literally what it's doing. It's blocking the cock.
It's blocking the cock. Yep.
Blocking the cock.
Funny. That's too fucking funny. Oh my god.
Yeah, every time one of them just jumps on top of the hen, the other one's like jumps on top. And my wife has a blast because like they hate anything that's not the hens. So every time it starts going, my wife will go, and she gets all pissed off, and it like flares up. It's like, oh, dude, they're just wretched creatures, and they deserve to get cooked, all of them. Fry them all.
Well,
Chicken. Look at
pick
this,
the one you don't like the most, and then use them for dinner.
dude. Cook them all. That's why
Cook 'em
me
all.
and her dad were like, "Yep, cook them. Like, don't even. Yeah, let's." No problem.
Cut their head off, let them run it off, and then and then deep take their friggin' what is the god? I can't think of it.
Just remember, no roosters, no chickens.
Deep feather, and just cook that sucker
man.
for dinner.
Pluck them, and call it a day.
Exactly.
I hate them. Speaking of hate, I gotta get my pill. I'll be right back.
Okay. Too funny. I miss John. Oh, you should have been here last weekend.
Oh,
Um,
I don't think I've ever even met you.
It's a holiday here tomorrow.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving, John.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We got a holiday too. Columbus Day.
What's tomorrow for you guys?
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day,
Is it Columbus Day? I thought Columbus Day was in May or something.
No, it's
Yeah.
October.
October.
Is it like a big
it's
Same
holiday?
day for Thanksgiving.
Come on, it's a holiday that should not exist because
You know
honoring
that guy-
Columbus for anything is bad. So we
The
don't.
guy that came over and stole the land from the Indians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
Who never set foot on North American soil at all.
Correct. Yeah. You know, we have a holiday for someone who first of all never set foot on the continental USA. Number one. Number two, who was a slave master and killed off
Pirate.
indigenous
Pirate.
species,
Great.
indigenous
Let's celebrate
Indians in the Caribbean, and was an overall asshole. And yes, leave it to the United States to have a holiday.
Yes.
named after him.
Swashbuckler.
What can be more American than do that?
Yes.
I haven't been in your country for 2 weeks and I miss it already.
Really?
Oh, I love driving in the States. Your truck stops are immaculate.
Yes, they
Oh
are.
my gosh.
Yes.
Come
I'll
to
tell
the
you
truck
something.
stops here.
Flying J. You
One-
like Flying J, John?
Loves
Loves is the
Loves
yeah,
truck
is the better.
stops
Yes.
are like chef's kiss.
Yes.
They're
Mm-hmm.
incredibly clean.
Mhm.
They're fantastic. Flying, so it's like the tier is like Loves is way up top, nothing even close. Then Flying J, and the TA and the Petros are underneath because they're kind of garbage. But
Yeah.
they're
Right.
still
Flying J is owned by Jimmy Haslam, who is the owner of the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
there. You go.
That's the J.
Yeah, hence the J. Yep.
I tell you something. If you get to New Jersey has some of the best stop and rest areas I've ever seen anywhere. You know,
Well,
they
it's a
are.
turnpike state, Ken. So
Well, they
Yeah,
have to look in New
right.
Jersey. You know.
Yeah,
Pretty high.
they are magnificent. I wish we had them here.
tech.
All we have is Buc-ee's.
So, John, I want to ask you, how did you feel about that Miami game last week? Because you never really.
Oh, it was
gave-
great. It was fantastic. I,
I-
loved it.
I did relay your message that you sent to me.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
about fuck Miami and fuck the media. Number one.
Yep.
Okay.
Now they're on top of the AFC East. So what can
Yeah,
I
I
say?
mean now you know that people were the pundits were so quick to crown Miami as the class of the AFC East.
Right, and then they crowned Buffalo last week, and now this week Buffalo's going to
Crowning
be
Miami
horrible. They're going to
Mhm.
crown Miami again. It's
Yeah.
it's utter bull.
Yeah, but Miami played the Giants. They can't crown Miami because they played the Giants. I mean, that was just. I mean, that was
Well,
a
think of
disaster waiting to
Miami's-
happen for New York.
What's
You can't-
Miami's teams they've played other than Buffalo this season?
Denver.
Yeah, yeah.
70 burger Denver.
Yeah, 70 Burger Denver. So you know.
And I mean, they play who? The Chargers? Really?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to call
Can't
that.
get too- and that was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't get too high, you can't get too low.
Losing.
Yeah.
Like they always do.
I mean, this is Miami. They played the Chargers, Patriots, Broncos,
Oh,
and
the
the Giants.
Patriots. Hello.
Oh, yeah. I
Another
mean,
waste.
I mean, they you know, he's just it's just their strength of schedule. I mean, and then the next week they're playing the Panthers.
They're going to trash the Panthers.
Then they have to go through the Eagles, Patriots, Chiefs the next 3 games.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 games.
That's basically going to be the test for Miami, is if they're good, that they can go against the upper echelon of the NFL, mainly the Eagles.
Well, if they can't beat Kansas City, then they're not going to get home field advantage.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they'd fare well on the road in Kansas City.
I got to hand it to Miami. They own the top. Every Miami. There's a list out there of the 10 fastest players,
and all of them are
in all of NFL, and they're all Miami players.
The fastest speeds this season.
I saw that list. I'm disputing it too.
Tyreek Hill hit 22 miles an hour today.
First guy to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, what about this Devin A-Chain kid?
Oh my
God.
Where
did he come from?
It's A-Chan, but yeah.
It's A-Chan, and the
way A-Train, dude. Like,
dude, where is this guy? 10 to 12 carries, and he gets like 150 yards.
It's insane. Yeah, what's his yards per carry? Like 1,500 per carry or something? Like, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
It's like
I dispute this list because DJ Metcalf is not on there, and I know damn well DJ Metcalf is faster, if not faster than all of them.
DJ or DK?
DK.
I don't know. I'd have to debate that. But again, DK, he hasn't gotten into a sprint situation.
I'd love to see him in one.
You know, I mean, he chased down Buda Baker that one.
Yes. Game. Buda had a 15-yard lead on him.
Then again, you know, you got to understand that DK Metcalf has legs longer than some
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
And abs for days.
And he's got thighs the size of Virginia hams.
The guy that makes me laugh when he runs is Isaiah Pacheco. He looks like he's trying to beat up the grass with his feet.
So let me go back to the Patriots real quick.
Oh God.
So the Patriots lose today. 34-0 to New Orleans.
They got annihilated. They got annihilated.
Okay. Mac Jones gets benched the second week in a row.
But he's still QB1.
But he's still QB1 according to Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is why Bill Belichick needs to be fired after this season.
Well, the GM of New England, who is Bill Belichick, needs to tell Bill Belichick, the head coach, you're done. Go, you got your 6 rings. Right off into the sunset and have a nice
life. Brady, you got your 6 rings.
Yes. Okay. I mean, you know what? And to be honest, guys, this season is proof positive that Belichick wasn't the reason why the Patriots were so good. It was Tom Brady.
The last 3 seasons have been proof positive that it was all about Tom Brady.
It was all about Brady and not Belichick.
They went from Brady to mediocreville. And now they're in the slums as far as their quality of football.
Correct. And granted, Belichick's going to get in the Hall of Fame automatically because of the success that he's had due to Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you what, he's not the head coach we thought he was.
Well, he's going to go.
He's not the head coach he was. Period.
He's going to go hobbling into the Hall of Fame.
Yes. You know what? And you know what? I'm sorry. He's no Vince Lombardi, guys. He really is.
No.
He's no Hallis. He's no Lombardi. He's none of those.
He's no Tom Landry.
No.
He's no Chuck Noll.
Don Shula.
Yeah, he is Don Shula. He is Don Shula.
Don Shula.
Shula is the most overrated coach in the history of the NFL.
Well, you know what? I agree, Ken, because he was only able to take the Dolphins to 2 Super Bowls, and then he had the best talented quarterback to ever play the game in the 80s and early 90s, and he couldn't do anything with him.
No.
Dan Marino went to 1 Super Bowl.
They had no defense. That's why.
Right. Dan Marino went to 1 Super Bowl the whole tenure.
Marino
should have won multiple Super Bowls if it wasn't for the.
But how many teams have been that way over the years? That they have like
the Chargers. Chargers are coming to mind. The Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got an awesome offense, but your defense ain't worth crap. And a lot of times that's not always on the coach. I mean, he took the Colts to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Jets.
They lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know, he's got the record to solidify.
Well, Don Shula holds the record for the most wins of any head coach in the NFL in history.
Exactly.
Okay, but he had Dan Marino as his quarterback for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Could not win a championship.
There have been plenty of guys that were really, really good that never made it to a Super Bowl. How about Dan Fouts?
Dan Fouts is
Again, the
that's
Chargers.
exactly what I was thinking of.
You know what I'm saying?
Don Coryell, Eric
Don
Coryell.
Coryell. He
Your
was a
Coryell.
and he had one of the best offenses ever.
But they had a bad day. They had a lousy defense.
But they had a lousy defense. So, you know, a lot of times
Had some bad luck
you have to
too.
do a deep dive in order to get to the reality of what the situation is.
You can same can be said of Tony Dungy in his Tampa years. He had a great
Shula might have
defense,
won.
but it's no offense.
Hey, Shula might have won a lot of games that they had no business winning.
They did. 1972.
Yeah, and as I said, the other side of that coin is Tony Dungy. He had a great defense, but a bad offense. You know?
Bad management too.
And he
then
couldn't get over the top. Gruden had to come in, and he brought in Brad Johnson, all that stuff. But it wasn't the offense that won the Buccaneers the Super Bowl. It was
that team was already built by Tony Dungy.
Yes, it was Tony Dungy's team, and Gruden was able to take him over.
That's like when Steve Kerr came in and took over Golden State over Mark Jackson.
Yes,
Mark Jackson had that team where it was supposed to be. But when Steve Kerr came in, all of a sudden they gave him everything he wanted. Mark Jackson wasn't getting what he wanted.
Did they give Tony Dungy a Super Bowl ring after that? Just out of
no,
thank you for that.
Because the ownership of the Buccaneers, I mean, the Glazers are just assholes. I don't like
yes, well, you tell me.
Right. But
And
I
he did
got
a
to
great
say
job
this,
in
guys.
Indianapolis too.
I got to say this. And you guys are gonna blast me and you're gonna give me shit for this, but I'm gonna say it.
What now?
Baker has pulled me back in.
Boy, you're easily
Are you-
enticed, aren't
You've been sucked into the Baker Mayfield tornado, huh?
I am falling in love with Baker
You're
Mayfield
easily
again, guys.
enticed, dude.
I mean, the way he's playing this year, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's playing well. He's playing the best. He's playing better with the Buccaneers than he did with
Okay, I'm gonna
change
your name to Harvey.
Harvey.
Yeah, you know Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Because at the same time you can rip somebody apart, one little thing, all of a sudden you're in love.
Well, you know, and it's not just. Now,
what if Baker starts losing every single game? You're gonna be
off the field
Baker
stuff, too.
Mayfield.
I mean, his GM calls him a dude.
You were the one that almost had a conniption fit the day that Cleveland drafted him.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yes.
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 And he freaking sung his graces for how long until finally he realized that he just wasn't for Cleveland.
Yeah, Brett. Marty Schottenheimer never won a Super Bowl. You're correct. He never won an NFC championship either.
Yeah, Marty Schottenheimer was another coach.
He was a great coach, but he couldn't get his teams over the hump. And as a Browns fan, that hurt. I loved Marty. I still love Marty. God rest his soul. And he's probably the best coach the Browns have had in the last 40 years, in the 80s and early 90s. And then also Sam Rutigliano's also got a soft spot in my heart for the 70s when Brian Sipe was quarterback.
Blanton Collier.
I mean, the Cardiac Kids, they called him Ken in the 70s. So
you know why
referring to Blanton Collier in the 60s. But.
Yes.
You know why Baker Mayfield is playing so much better now?
Because he's with a real football team?
No, because he doesn't do progressive commercials. He's devoted himself to playing football and not trying to be a storyteller.
I can't help myself. Baker is dragging me back in, and I can't help myself.
Oh, so that means you're going to be a Bucs fan again?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was a Bucs fan when Tom Brady and them won the Super Bowl.
No, I was not a Bucs fan with Tom Brady. I was not a Bucs fan with Tom Brady. I'm going to set the record straight. I was not a Bucs fan with Tom Brady.
Did you not buy a championship hat?
No. Well, I did, but you buy championship hats every year, no matter what team wins.
Yeah, and I still have it.
Right. You bought one too.
I bought Giants hats when they won.
Right, but you bought Buccaneers hat when they won.
What is your
one? I bought a Tampa Bay T-shirt when they won the first Super Bowl.
Well,
I also won $220 in Vegas for that too.
I think I've said this story before, but do you know the only other NFL team's hat I have purchased in my lifetime? I think Scott remembers this. It'll be the team you would least think.
Well, the team I would least think is the Patriots. But...
Yes, that's actually it. Yes.
Why did you
because
buy a Patriots?
Here's the story. I was with Larry. Remember Larry?
Yes.
I brought my kid to Boston. And the Patriots were having their open practice before. So we went to the practice, and that's where I took that picture of me peeing on their logo. Right? And it was hot. Like, dude, another level of hot. The sun, they have you out. I don't have a hat. So I'm like, I gotta buy a hat.
Your bald ass head getting sunburned.
What did you burn it with?
Well, this is the fun story. I told Larry, I said, dude, I'm gonna buy this hat, and the only reason I'm buying this, and you'll see what happens when I get home. So I bought the hat, I'm wearing it, and I get home, and then on a live stream the next week, I cut it up and put it on and made a fire out of it. So it's the only time I've ever purchased another hat from any other franchise, and it's actually the Patriots. But it was great.
Did you sandblast your cranium at the same time?
Yeah, I had to disinfect it and stuff. Right?
Yes, you are correct. Here is the Buccaneers championship hat.
See, I can't do that. I can't do it. Okay. I'm like just Bills only, dude. Like
you are correct. I did buy it. Okay.
Well, and I think the whole thing, Scott, is that, you know, like I said, when I first met you and up until a certain time, you always said because you live near Tampa that you supported the Tampa Bay.
Well, I loved, you know what did it for me was I loved the Tony Dungy Buccaneers. I fell in love with them in the early 2000s, in late 90s, early 2000s. I just fell in love with that team because of Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Mike Allstott. Okay. Those guys were, they just were so impressive to me. That's why I fell in love with that team.
Don't forget John Lynch.
Well, John Lynch, yeah. He's the hardest hitting safety since Ronnie Lott. Yes.
Well, wasn't it that guy from Arizona? The one that
Chucky Cecil, yep.
Yeah.
He was dirty, though.
I used to watch him play for the Wildcats when I lived in Arizona.
So early 2000s, and that's why, Ken, my nickname in the MSN chat was Brown Buck.
Right.
Okay. Because I was a Buccaneers fan and a Browns fan.
I remember.
Even though the Browns were number one, I rooted for the Buccaneers. And I fell in love with Tony Dungy's team because of how good that defense was. So, and going into the 2002 season, after they fired Dungy, I still was in love with him, and I was hoping Gruden could get him over the top, and he did. But it was Tony Dungy's defense that won that Super Bowl. It was not John Gruden.
Well, it was Rich Gannon throwing 5 touchdowns, or only 3 to the other team.
Right. Right. Well, it doesn't hurt the fact that, the head coach of the Raiders didn't change the game plans nor the play call signs on offense. So the Bucs knew exactly what was going to happen because John Gruden told them what was going to happen and when a certain play call was coming in.
He had an advantage.
Right.
Let me ask you something, Scott.
Yeah.
Let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
If Tony Dungy is not fired, do they still win the 2002 Super Bowl?
Ken, I've asked myself that question. Tony Dungy had a problem with Philadelphia. He had a problem beating the Eagles. The Eagles knocked them out of the playoffs more times than I can count, leading up to Dungy's firing. The Eagles were always going to be the Achilles heel of Tony Dungy. So no, I don't.
I just believe that, again, I'll bring up the Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr.
Well, and also
when Gruden came in, they gave him the necessary pieces to put them over the top.
Gruden was an offensive-minded coach. Tony Dungy was a defensive-minded coach who had Mike Shula as his offensive coordinator, for God's sake. Okay?
Right.
Dungy was always defense. Dungy, in my opinion, was.
So who was the offensive coordinator when Chucky came in? When Gruden came in?
I don't remember. I don't remember who the.
Well, obviously they got rid of Shula.
Right. I don't know. I don't remember who the OC
and they brought
was.
somebody else in just
called
for
it a lot of it himself.
It doesn't matter who the OC was. He was Gruden's offense.
They
Right.
made a lot of
He called a lot of it himself.
They made a lot of concessions for Gruden, just like Golden State made a lot of concessions for Steve Kerr.
Right. Correct.
Okay, and
Many
many people.
Dungy going to Indianapolis to allow the offensive coordinator to do his thing, and Tony Dungy was not even involved in the offense in Indianapolis. He was involved in the defense. Okay, that's why he was able to win in Indy with Peyton Manning because he let. Huh?
I said in both cases the race card issue came up. You know, you get rid of a black coach, bring in a white one, you give him everything he wants, he wins. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of truth to that. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Because, I mean, you see the disparity in coaching. Well, right now, there's more black coaches in the NFL than there have been in a long time. You know, and you got coaches showing up, African Americans being involved in coaching and stuff like that. But where's the black owners at?
There aren't any.
And they ain't gonna let any in either. That's a fraternity, the NFL owners.
Yep.
And their
Good
lackey,
old boys club.
their lackey is Roger Goodell. That's why they won't get rid of him, because he does everything that they say.
Yep.
He works for them.
Tom Moore was the guy in Indianapolis. He was the reason why Indy was able to win Super Bowl, because he and Peyton were always on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Moore created an offensive scheme that allowed Peyton Manning to be as good as he was.
And Tony Dungy trusted him.
Correct. Tom and Tony trusted him. He said, "Okay, Tom, you work the offense. I won't even touch it. You take care of that, and I'll take care of getting the defense in order."
He did that.
He brought in Booger McFarland from Tampa, okay? And that defense is what allowed Indy to get into the Super Bowl throughout the playoffs, because that defense really stepped up in the playoffs the year Indy won the Super Bowl. Tony Dungy in Tampa would not have worked out, because Tony Dungy had his hands in everything, and because he had his hands in the offense, that's why they weren't successful. Okay,
because he didn't have confidence in his
plus
offensive coordinator.
the quarterbacks that Dungy went through in Tampa, Trent Dilfer.
Hey, wait a minute. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Why? Because of a Baltimore defense.
Because the Baltimore defense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So why couldn't he win? Again, I think it has a lot to do with the staff that was supporting him. He might not have trusted them the way he trusted Tom Moore and the staff in Indianapolis. You know? Plus, he had Peyton Manning. What did Dungy have?
I mean, look. Let me hang on one second. Hang on, let me take a look at this real quick. We're going from the 1997 year which was when Tony took over. He had Trent Dilfer through 99, Sean King, and Brad Johnson. But Brad Johnson was the one that got him in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he had Trent Dilfer for most of his freaking career. Okay. Mike Shula, Don Shula's boy, was the coordinator for the Buccaneers during that time, and he was so conservative, would not take chances, would not get aggressive. It was just terrible.
He was just like his dad.
Correct. So Dungy suffered from an offensive coordinator that was too conservative, that would allow Tampa Bay to open up the offense and get into the Super Bowl. Brad Johnson came in. I mean, it was.
Let's go back 3 years to 1999.
That's more than 3 years.
1999 to 2002.
3 years prior to Super Bowl, yeah.
99. They play the St. Louis Rams in the NFC Championship game.
11-9 or 11-6.
11-6.
Yes, 11-6.
The team that they called, what was it? What they called
Greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on turf. Held them to 11 points. So,
well, that was kind of like when the Rams played the Patriots a few years back. You know, with what's his name, Gurley and all the weapons that they had, and they were supposed to be this high-powered offense, and New England shut them down. 13-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't blame it on their defense. They held the Patriots and Brady to 13 points.
I would like to have seen what Tampa Bay would have done against Tennessee in that Super Bowl. Because I think there's a real possibility they could have beaten Tennessee. St. Louis did.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
By 1 yard. By 1 yard, they beat them.
Yeah.
Less than a yard.
Yeah, I specifically remember the last year Dungy was in Tampa. They went to Philadelphia. I don't know if it was a divisional game or the NFC Championship. I want to think it was the NFC. No, maybe it was the NFC Championship. And regardless of that, I remember the picture of what's his name? Who was the GM? He's now with Atlanta. McKay.
Oh, yeah.
McKay, who was the GM, sitting on the bench on the sidelines after that game, just beside himself because he knew that Dungy was gone because they couldn't beat Philadelphia. Just the utter disappointment in his face and the way it was going. He knew that the Glazers were going to tell him, we need to get rid of Dungy. Let's bring somebody else in here.
Yes, Brett, that was Kurt Warner's Rams.
Yes, that was Kurt Warner's Rams.
Wasn't that the year of the Music City Miracle when Tennessee went to that Super Bowl?
No,
that was long time ago.
No.
That was long. No, don't bring it up. Come on.
Come on, man. I've had a rough day, dude.
I'm sorry to open old wounds. I was just wondering if that was.
And Brett Murphy is correct. Monty Kiffin was the general and was the designer of that Tampa Bay defense that was so dominant in the early.
Lane Kiffin's old man.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's old man.
Yes.
Another son that didn't live up to dad.
Yes,
that's
correct.
Right.
Correct.
Always trying.
Real quick, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. What is your takeaway from this week? What are your observations from this week? Ken, what do you got?
This week, first off, rest in peace, Dick Butkus.
Yes, big time.
Big time. Best linebacker I've ever seen, ever played the NFL. There's never been anybody quite like him before. Hasn't been one.
Top 10 player in the NFL all time. Top 10.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
He doesn't get like your commercials too.
Yeah.
Decent actor.
He was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. He was in a show, My Two Dads or something like that. Yeah. I respected the hell out of Dick Butkus. Didn't always agree with some of his tactics, but
well, he was a mean son of a bitch on the football field.
He was.
Well,
Horning said he was the meanest son of a bitch I've ever seen play pro football.
Everybody in the old NFL played like they had chips on their shoulders.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Those chips have been removed. So, but yeah, it's that I have to believe that the Bears kind of played in his honor.
They fed off that news, because
yes, they did.
The player said they didn't find out about it until it was broadcast on the Jumbotron in that stadium in FedEx Field. They didn't know until just before the game. So they played that game in honor of Dick Butkus, and they really just did a great job of that game on Thursday night.
I fully expect to see a 51 on their jerseys.
I would think so. Yes,
absolutely.
What are your takeaways, Elliot?
From this week?
Yeah.
There's still no clear-cut favorites no matter where you look.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the whole friggin' league is up for grabs. It really is.
Because, a lot of teams are an injury away from not being contenders.
Correct.
Yep, or 3 injuries away.
Right, as John would say.
I mean, again, I just don't. I mean, I see kind of clear-cut stuff. Like we said before, Detroit winning the NFC North.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're heading. head and shoulders above the rest of the teams in that division.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I mean, the AFC North is in the same predicament, and now you got. Remember, we all thought the Colts were going to finish last, and they're 3-2.
Yep.
But they lost Richardson today to a
They did, but Minshew
like a strained shoulder ligament. Yeah.
Minshew's like this era's Nick Foles. He comes in and
Pardon Minshew played really well in relief today.
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't this Richardson's third injury already?
Just second.
Second?
Well, concussion and then the shoulder.
Okay.
But that's those are the chances you take when you're a running quarterback.
Yeah. They're saying it's a strained ACL joint not ACL, but shoulder, shoulder.
AC joint.
Again, everything's up for grabs, and I think some stories are going to unfold tonight with this game between Dallas and San Francisco.
Yeah, strained AC joint. Sorry.
Some clarity is going to appear as far as.
I need CMC to go off.
Well, he just got a face mask penalty called against Dallas. So.
Yeah.
John, what I mean, I know you guys lost today, and I'm sorry for that. But what are your takeaways from week 5?
No more London games for the love of everything that's good in the world.
Another one next week.
There's one next week.
Tennessee and Baltimore next week in London.
Yeah. Dude, I hate them. I think it's stupid, but whatever. I mean, dude, big shout out to Bills Mafia. I don't know if you guys saw that game.
Yes,
that was basically a home
pro
game.
Buffalo.
Yeah, that Bills Mafia was out in force today in London.
And like people, my buddies that I talked to with Fantasy Football League, they're all like, "Oh man, I'm surprised there was that many fans, in England that are Buffalo fans." I'm like, no, dude, that's from the States. Like if you followed Bill's Twitter,
right,
everyone went over there.
Newsflash: Buffalo fans travel well.
They
Very
do.
well. Yeah.
And no one circles the wagons like the Bills fans.
Yeah,
do.
big shout out to Chris Berman, man. We need a Chris Berman Super Bowl, man. Come on.
Yeah, San Francisco Buffalo would be a real nice way.
Yeah.
I think Chris Berman could die in peace at that point.
Yeah.
You see the amount of Giants fans are at the Miami game today?
No, I didn't see
It
that.
was about 60-40.
They migrate from New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
Down to Miami.
Just Miami fans are just coming out of the woodwork now because they got a good team. There's a few diehards, but it's not like
Buccaneers fans are the same way, dude.
Fair weather, man.
Fans in Florida, fans are not really loyal to any team. Look at what happened with Tampa and their baseball. 19,000 and 20,000. They actually had the lowest attendance at a playoff game in over 100 years.
Buddy of mine was in Tampa for those 2 days, and he said they were selling tickets for $20 a piece, and nobody was taking them.
Mike Greenberg was like, and now we'll go check out Tampa, where only friends and family were allowed to attend.
Yeah. Well, the Rays have been like that for years, guys, because
absolutely.
I mean,
look, football is the thing in Tampa.
Football and hockey. Football and hockey.
And hockey now. Before it was just football.
Yeah. The Lightning draw, and they sell that arena out every night for 20,000 fans. Okay? The Buccaneers will sell out provided they're playing good.
Yeah.
The Rays never get anybody because
well, I think part of the problem is that stadium sucks.
Well, it's not just the trough.
It smells.
It's the fact that Tampa is full of Boston, New York, Philadelphia, those type of fans that don't like.
Do you know that
they're not Rays fans. They're Yankees fans. They're Red Sox fans. They're Philadelphia Philly fans because that's where
spring training takes place.
That's where because you get the Blue Jays, Phillies, and Yankees with their spring training in the Tampa Bay area. Oh, that was nice.
How open
George Kittle, you son of a bitch. That was great.
How open was he? Dude, Ken, what's up with the Cowboys defense, dude? Like, what was that? Oh my gosh, how open was he?
He was wide open.
Oh.
God, Brock Purdy hasn't lost a game yet as a starter.
I firmly believe that the New York City subways are more hygienic than Tropicana Field.
I'm tending to agree with you.
That was me, rats.
Damn, dude. That was a freaking touchdown. Brock Purdy, man. You think they got to change that Mr. Irrelevant tag now
I agree.
forever because of this
Why?
kid.
It's great. Because
This kid is something else, guys.
Yeah, man.
He really is.
the
Yeah,
relevancy of Mr. Irrelevant is it's a story to sell. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
a flag.
That's
There's a
true.
flag for.
Dude's
Yeah.
undefeated in the regular season. What they say the other day, Dak Prescott won two playoff games in 8 years, and Brock Purdy won it in 5 games or something like that.
It was a penalty against the Cowboys, and it's still touchdown counts.
And the salaries, I mean, Daniel Jones gets paid $160 million,
Well, guys,
$40 million a year, and he only gets like $780,000 or something like that.
Crazy.
Jonathan Taylor got paid, guys. You see that contract?
Yes.
Good for him.
He needs to hope that Zach Moss ain't stealing his job, though.
Zach Moss had a
no.
day
No
too.
kidding.
Zach Moss was great today, but Taylor got his money, and I'm happy for him.
Now let's see if he gets hurt.
Yeah, so much for the animosity between Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Whatever happened to the guy that they traded for Moss, John? Remember?
Oh, Naheem Hines.
Nyheim Hines.
He hurt himself in the offseason on a jet boat. He got hit. Some dude ran into his jet ski.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done. Running back, dude.
Moss, I'm telling you, man. But that's what happens sometimes when you get guys that have the potential, but it takes a change of scenery to make them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was never anti Zach Moss. It was.
I mean, look at some of these guys that pitch like Jordan Montgomery, Valdi for Texas. They used to play for the Yankees, but they didn't pitch that well for the Yankees. Why? Because it's a whole different scenario playing under the New York media than it is the Texas media. You know what I'm saying? Or other medias. The pressure involved is immense. Just as I'm sure the pressure to play in Buffalo is immense. And when you got a group called the Mafia, that can be pretty intimidating.
No, they're just a little crazy. I don't know if Bill's Mafia is intimidating. It's more
But
just
sometimes
crazy.
it changes scenery. And one thing that a lot of fantasy people on these sites and whatnot. Oh, now that Cooper Kupp's back, you might as well just get rid of Puka Nacua because he's going to diminish. Puka Nacua outscored him in fantasy today.
Scott, you have an animal crawling on your shoulder, it looks like.
Is that my boy Groot?
No, he's
No.
going up. No, he's climbing into the window.
Weird.
No, that's something hanging from the wall over there.
I made a friend while I went to cut Scott's hair the other day.
Yes, I mean, John, you weren't here last week. Groot actually adopted Elliot while he was here.
Wow. Great.
I think he wanted a haircut, but you know.
God, I can't think of his name.
Oh, let's see where this goes. It's going out there. Touchback.
Why can't I find his name? Hang on, give me a second. John, shout out to you. DeMar Hamlin back on the field for the Bills last weekend. He was inactive today, but he was back on the field last week with the Bills.
To a standing ovation.
I'm sure that emotion.
Innovation.
I'm sure that emotion probably had a lot to do with their performance that day too.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the dude almost died on national TV. Well,
No, he did.
He died on national
on the
TV.
field, and then he died again in the hospital.
Right.
But they brought him back.
I mean, just amazing stuff. All right, guys, it's 8:34. John can only handle an hour on his upload, so we're going to call it a night. Thanks for everybody that showed up. It was a great show. Week 6 next week. Browns Niners. Yeah, go Browns. Oh, God. Anyway, on behalf of my co-hosts, Mr. Ken Coslow, Elliot Biggie Lama, and Mr. John G. Olson, I am the Sports Nerd. We're a Sports Nerd, and we are out. We'll be back here next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And on that boat, Elliot, play the outro, please.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we are still alive to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And his co-host, John Olson, Ken Costco, our lovable member of the Ram Pack, and yes, me, Big E, The entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, Dear Nation, we would like to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe, please practice social distancing, and for heaven's sake, please wear a damn mask. You all just got hit with a pack rant from the Rant Pack, and with that, fellas, we are